Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motor Chaos. It's yours, Dave. Eyeline special guest, top dragster driver, Tyler Brown. How you doing, Tyler?
Doing pretty good, Dave. How about yourself?
Not bad at all. Getting ready for some turkey this week.
Oh, yeah, same here. Have to prepare everything for family get together. Uh,
Now,
I get stuffed on stuffing.
now, where are you going for Thanksgiving?
We're going down to my parents' house. We actually have to do a couple. I have to do one with my parents and then one with the in-laws. So pretty much running around town the whole weekend. Pretty busy.
Eating a lot of food, huh?
Yeah. I plan to gain at least 10 to 15 pounds.
Well, you better get it off, later so you can fit in that fire suit.
Yeah, no kidding. I gotta try and drop as much weight as I can for next season. Honestly, I put on a little bit towards the end.
So now, how'd you do this year with the dragster?
Fought a lot of gremlins this year with my dragster. Had mainly electrical issues. Electrical issues to the point where I'm switching over to a front drive mag, trying to see if that'll help me out. Besides that, it ran great earlier this year. I fought a lot of demons more so than anything towards the end of the year. But got a deal worked out with Fred Farndon, and he's going to help me get hooked up with a front drive and hopefully try to get my car down and run about 620s next year.
Now, is your dragster, is it a nitro injected?
No, mine is blown alcohol, big block Chevy with a 1471 high helix on it, 2-speed power glide off of the back of it. It's been 650s, about 210. Really fun ride, really consistent when it wants to be.
So you run in the top alcohol class?
Run top dragster class. It's one step below it. We run all the divisionals with a little bit more so than the top alcohol cars, but I mean, they're spending way more money than we are to make a single pass too.
So now, what got you into drag racing?
My family, I grew up in it. I first day at the racetrack, I was 6 weeks old. My dad had a race to get to, so we loaded everything up and went to the track. My grandfather was a funny car racer back in the 60s and 70s. Won a Winter National. My dad ran top alcohol cars in the 80s and 90s, and then stopped whenever I started getting into it, and then I started causing all the trouble. I started doing everything around 8 with junior dragsters and upgraded to super stock class when I was 15. Kind of lied about my age so I could race, and then got my top dragster when I was 20.
Wow. So now, what was the experience like for you the first time going down a drag strip?
I was so ready for it. We had a big backyard, and my dad would always take me out back and make me do laps and circles, and I couldn't wait for that one moment to actually get to drive it, and it was just a surreal experience, getting to live a dream even though you're a kid doing it. I mean, it's hard to put the words into it, and now, you still get those butterflies in your stomach whenever you get into the car because you never know what these things are going to do. Feel all the G's pull against you, and you're just along for a hell of a ride.
So what are some of your favorite tracks to race on?
My favorite I have two favorite tracks. There is a Extreme Raceway Park down in Ferris, Texas. I believe is where it's located. It is an all concrete, beautiful racetrack. Very modern. It was just finished very recently. It's almost like a mini Ennis, Texas. If you've ever been to the Motorplex down there. They even have TV set up in the concession stand so you can keep watching the races while they're going on. My second favorite track has got to be Tulsa. I mean, that's more of like a home base. Go run up there for tests. That's the best place that you're going to be able to get around here to test. A good, consistent racetrack for sure.
Now, do you do quarter mile racing?
I do both. I mix it up with quarter mile and eighth mile, just depending on what race is happening and how much an entry fee is going to cost me.
So what's your preference?
I love quarter mile. You can't beat it. I mean, eighth mile was done too fast for me. I like being able to just actually hit that. I'm trying to get to the 250 mile an hour mark, so I don't think I'm going to be able to cover an eighth, so I want to keep going for that quarter mile and try to get that 250 mark.
So now, what keeps you passionate about keep going with drag racing?
Man, it's so much fun to drive a car. I don't know. Whenever you drive a car, you actually feel at peace with something. You feel calm, and it's just a rush. And afterwards, it's almost like you're chasing a dragon. Almost, you're just fighting for that first time feel.
So, what's the quickest pass you've made with the top dragster?
I've been 650s, 655 at 210.9 to be exact. Did it down at Thunder Valley a couple of years ago. Did it on a really soft pass. Did it on. There's still a lot left in the motor, so I'm hoping to get it up again, like 620s, and then from there try to just see what the motor will do and see if I can get up to 250 mark.
Now, do you have any drag race drivers that were inspirational to you?
Yes. The biggest person to me, especially right now, is Fred Farndon. I currently crew on his Nitro Funny car. I'm clutch specialist or clutch guy on that. He pretty much taught me like everything there is to know about a nitro motor. Pretty much everything I know now about an alcohol motor. And just how to be a really resourceful person with limited funds, still to be able to go and do your passion. He's really taught me a lot of things. I really can't thank him enough for that.
Now, are you ever planning on dipping into nitro any time in the future?
I want to get into nitro so bad. I'm looking and trying to find. I was trying to bother some brothers into letting me drive their alcohol funny car, and then that got X-made on me. Now I'm gonna try to, if I could ever get into just any nostalgia nitro car, I think that'd just be the coolest thing. Getting to work on the funny car it's just a blast, and the power and the vibrations that you get off of that car whenever it launches is just it's just something I want to try. I want to see how difficult it really is to drive one of those things.
Now, do you have any thoughts on the Steve Torrance situation? What happened?
See, now I may feel like I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm kind of glad that it happens. It brought a lot of attention to our sport. I don't think he should have done it, but I love the fact that Cameron got into his head. I mean, it did its purpose. He was out there to be a thorn in the side of the championship race, and he did it. Like, Torrance cut like a 170 light, wasn't even close. God forbid if something would have happened, Cam was right there to do it to him. Then he wants to go and whatever words might have been said to him for him to still go ahead and push his face. Man. It's a bad look on him, but man, it did bring a lot of eyes to our sport.
Yeah, I shared the link up where the 25 grand fine into a few groups on Facebook, and man, comments, people are fighting with each other.
I'm surprised that I can't say I'm surprised. NHRA had to do something, but the anger management I thought was a little bit funny to myself. I thought it was great.
Yeah, but it's crazy though the
what
way.
What do you think about the whole thing?
I don't think he should have not touched Cameron. Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, I completely understand. It shouldn't have happened in the first place, but I think it ends up being a net positive for us in the end.
Yeah, it's crazy though how the people are fighting on the comments so back and forth. Like, one person's like, he should have been fined more. 25 grand is nothing for him. He should have been fined more, or he should have been stripped of the title, and so many different people got different comments.
Yeah, my only thing with stripping them of the title is, I mean, their crew didn't do anything. The crew was trying to separate them. The crew worked their ass off all year long and really did a championship effort. Now, it really should have been. It's hard to say that you want to fine him more money because, I mean, this is all our passion. I mean, you don't want to drive someone away from their passion of racing. So we need everybody that we can get.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's got their own opinion on that ordeal.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's entitled to it.
Yeah.
Most people just want to complain because they wish they had the $25,000.
Yeah. So now, when you go racing with the Dragster, how many crew members do you have with you?
There are 4 of us. There's myself, my dad, a friend of ours, David Mathis, who can help us whenever he can, and a really good friend of mine named Barry Brown, no relation, that they help us out tremendously. I can't thank them enough for everything that they do. Fred comes out every now and then whenever he has an opportunity to. But yeah, those are my crew guys. It's mainly family and close friends.
Now, do you have any sponsors, Tyler?
No, I used to have myself sponsor myself, but that didn't work out too well. I'm mainly just self-funded, saving every dollar I can so I can do what I love and try to go on and keep going until I can reach that nitro car. So it's just Ryan Hour and Brown Racing. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. You can follow me at NitroScoop4764 on Instagram. Don't post often, but there's something.
So what was the experience like for you the first time driving a top dragster?
I was scared out of my mind. My dad really tried to put a fear of God into me. Uh, he told me, "You better not leave with this thing at 4,000 RPM, or I'm gonna rip you out of this car." So I think I left idling and coasted to a measly 530 at 140, 150 miles an hour. So I was more worried than anything. The second pass was a hell of a lot more fun. It pulled 3.7 on the 3.7 Gs, ran a 450 letting off. It was a lot of fun, that second pass. Second pass was a whole hell of a lot more fun.
Now, when you're out on the track, Tyler, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
Uh, we're all racers. We all have our little kinks. I always have to go and walk the track. Um, I don't know if I've ever found anything on the track that would help me out, but I always just want to walk all the way down, see where all the markers are, just get a look at what the whole place is what the whole facility looks like. I just want to really know like the ins and outs of it. Besides that, walk the track, start heading back, and just start working on the car, get it ready.
So, how many events did you run this year?
This year I ran 5 events with my car, and we ran 5 events with Fred's funny car.
Now, is Fred going to be doing some more funny car chaos events next year?
Oh yes, we actually just pulled everything apart this past weekend. We were pulling the motor apart, checking all the pistons, put everything back together. And we're like, well, let's check the main bearings, and go to find out that we have 2 bearings stuck and blackened the crank. And we're like, okay, well, good thing we're checking the motor. We're pulling everything apart, getting everything sent off, and it's maintenance time.
Now, are there any tracks out there that you haven't been to yet that you would love to go to one of these days?
I would love to go to Bandimere. I've never even driven by it, and I've been to Denver. I couldn't tell you how many times, and it just always looks beautiful on TV. I've never had the chance. Timing's never really worked out for me to run up there, so I'm really trying to get up there and run up in the mountains.
Now, what kind of preparation goes into getting the dragster ready for a weekend?
Getting Dragster ready for the weekend. Go ahead. It's more of what we do after every race. Once we get at home, we go ahead, go through all the fuel lines, get it completely cleared out, check the rings on the pistons, check the bearings on the camshaft or on the crankshaft. Check the blower, make sure everything's good on that. We've had a lot of issues with transmission, so we'll go ahead, go through that. And that's really about it. It's more just upkeep, maintenance, make sure everything's cleared out and clean, everything's ready to go.
Now, if someone might be listening to this interview right now and they're thinking in their head that they might want to drive a dragster, what kind of advice would you give someone?
Do it. Find an opportunity and do it. It's something that you won't experience anywhere else. It's really hard to duplicate. Yeah, just do it. That's the best advice I can give for it. Like, find a way and do it.
So you got a big need for speed, Tyler?
Yes. My police report from when I was a kid would that. Um, I've slowed down now, at least on the streets, but I've always had to at least. I've done motocross. Had a go kart. Anything, any way I could go fast, I have to do it. It's too much fun not to.
Now, where do
I feel like
where?
a crazy person saying that.
All right. Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
I get it from two places. I get it from Simpson Safety Equipment down in Texas, and I also get my seat belts and seat belts, parachutes, and everything like that from Carl White and all of his safety products. I really loved working with both of these companies. I've never had an issue with either one. I would keep using them until they probably won't sell to me anymore, but I doubt that.
Now, during this off season, are you gonna be making any changes to the dragster?
We're going to be switching over from a distributor cap, the crab walk cap, to a front drive mag. We kept running into issues with the timing jumping from 20 to 80 degrees timing and almost melting some pistons on me, causing a whole lot of fun. Aside from that, we're going to try to keep everything else the same. See if that will help us with any of our other issues. We think we got everything else lined out pretty good, and that's really about it. Hopefully, that'll take care of all the rest of the problems that we've been having.
All right. Now, what milestones have you reached so far in your drag racing career?
I don't know if my uncle will take credit for this, but I was the first one to get up over 210 miles an hour in my family, which is big to me. Having my dad running alcohol ranks and grandpa running pro mods and funny cars. Being able to break into a 6-second zone was also a really big deal for me. I want to break into the 5s and then the 4s, and then if I ever get a chance to run a nitro car, I want to break into the 3s. So those are the two main goals that I've been able to accomplish. I can't say I've won any races, sadly, but I've runnered up at actually at double digits at 10 events. So I've always gotten close, but never been the bride. Always been the bridesmaid in a sense.
Now, have you had any accidents in your drag racing career so far?
No, I've gotten close a couple times due to a couple real bad wind gusts that were down at Thunder Valley probably a couple years ago, and I had a engine explosion on me whenever I was first licensing in my car. It was a good motor too. It was an old 454. I went through the lights and the thing split in two, in between 4 and 6 and 3 and 5, split it right in two, and just ruined everything that I had. That was a fun ride. I got out of the car while I was still moving on that one.
All right, fun question time now. If someone were to come up to you, Tyler, and give you $500 million to build a brand new drag race track, what would you consider building in a brand new track, and what kind of features would you put into that track?
Ooh, good question. I would love to have a great track here somewhere in Oklahoma, but I know that's not the best place to put it. Screw it. I'd love to have one here in western Oklahoma. We got a great altitude, so I bet it'd be great to with the area. I'd love to have it look almost like Ennis. I love Ennis. Uh, Almost take what Ferris did and modernize Ennis and just have this all concrete palace that would just be able to be a staple here in Oklahoma. And that'd be great to have. I mean, we have Thunder Valley and Tulsa, but I feel like if we had a larger complex, it'd be fantastic.
All right, now Tyler, do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
Um, Work and school, I feel like, are my only other hobbies outside of racing. Um, I am literally stuck in this life. I feel like this is my main hobby. This is what eats me up at night. This is what I work my paycheck for. I love doing this. This is drag racing. This is my hobby. It's my hobby and my passion.
All right, now in the top dragster field, do you have a greatest competitor out there?
Um, I don't know about greatest competitor, but the person that I always liked racing against the most is Bob Alberti. He's a Tulsa native, hilarious guy, who to drive against, and I mean he's always got a fast dragster with him, and it's a beautiful car. Yeah, that would be my person I always like going up against in my class.
Now, throughout your racing career, have you won any, trophies, plaques, any of that kind of good stuff?
Aside from whenever I was a kid with a couple of junior races and small little high school deals, I haven't won a race, sadly. I've been to 10 final rounds and never been able to secure a win light. The closest I've ever got, I went 001 under on my dial-in and broke out. And just every time I've thrown it away, and I think I'm gonna get one this next year. I'm gonna have me a nice little collection here soon.
Now, if you were able to do time traveling and go back into time, would you do anything differently with your racing career?
Uh, no, I can't say that I really would. I'd maybe go back a little bit and just work a little bit harder at the start. But the opportunity that I've been given to work on the Nitro Funny cars that I've been able to work on, to travel to all the places I've been able to travel to, I can't complain. I'm very blessed to have the life that I've lived.
Now, if you ever have time to go on a vacation, what's your favorite vacation spot?
Um, my favorite vacation spot, I would have to say, probably gonna go out to Eureka Springs, out in Arkansas. We went out there for family reunion this past year, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, I'll get stuck in the hills of those mountains with the lake and everything. It was just so scenic, and I'd go back there in a heartbeat.
Now, you have any kids?
No, no kids. Me and my wife were still waiting a little bit on that. So I'm almost done with school, so probably once I finish school, we'll get started on that. But we'll make sure everything else is paid for.
Yeah, maybe you'll pop up some junior dragster drivers.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to talk mom into that once that happens. So that'll be the real test.
You know, the kids are the future of the drag racing sport.
Oh yeah, I think we'll have one that'll be fairly competitive. I won't try to drive them too crazy with it, at least.
Now, your wife supportive of you in your drag racing career?
Yeah, she is. She doesn't like going to the track. Uh, she, that's just one thing that she doesn't like to see me in the car, but she's more than supportive of me going to the track. Uh, I mean, with the amount of time that I've spent away from home, she's always been right there by my side, supporting me and saying, "Yeah, go and do this." Like, yeah, this is worthwhile. So, it, she's supportive, but you'll never see her at the track.
All right. Now, uh, what's your favorite food to eat?
My favorite food?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd probably say anything with bacon on it. Let's go mac and cheese and bacon. I've I've been going through a lot of that here recently, so I've been doing a lot of homemade mac and cheese and bacon.
Now, does your wife cook?
Uh, Partly, I do most of the cooking. Funnily enough,
So
I
what?
grew up. My grandpa taught me how to cook whenever I was young, and I just kind of kept on doing it.
So what do you consider that your best dish that you cook?
Ooh, man, I have to do gotta do some filet mignon with some roasted green beans and some mashed potatoes.
Homemade
That'd probably
mashed
be my
potato.
best dish.
Homemade mashed potato.
Oh yeah. Oh man, you got it. That's the only way you can do it.
Exactly.
Homemade. Everything's got to be homemade. Can't be getting the canned green beans either. Got to go and pick the green beans out of the produce section. Get them all prepped and nice. Get a good piece of steak from the butcher. Real nice.
All right. Now, what's your favorite beverage or choice?
Favorite beverage of choice be Crown Royal and Sprite. Crown and Seven is what it's called, but nobody ever has 7 Up anymore. So Crown and Sprite.
All right. Now, what's your favorite non-alcoholic beverage?
Probably coffee. Uh, that's what keeps me going in the mornings, or actually most of the day, I should say, not just the morning.
So, do you have a favorite movie of all time?
Oh, gotta be. Damn, that's actually a hard one. I almost gotta say Blues Brothers.
Jake and Elwood Blues.
Oh man, on a mission from God, man.
Yep. Yeah, that was classic.
I couldn't tell you how many times I saw that. They always used to crack my shit up whenever they'd walk into the nun's office, and then the nun would start whipping them with an antenna.
Then those big police car pileups. Then a lot of police cars were destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah, many cop cars were destroyed in the filming of that movie for
Yeah.
sure.
Now, what's your favorite music?
Um, it's probably a mix. I like old school country. I like rap. I like rock. It's really just however I'm feeling during that day. I listen to Johnny Cash. My list always goes. It's Johnny Cash, Nirvana, Biggie, Run the Jewels, Merle. It's just a very eclectic list.
It's good to have an open mind in music.
Oh yeah, I mean you gotta. I feel like you gotta keep an open mind with everything. It's the only way you're gonna come up with a new idea to try to improve yourself. You know,
Yeah. So now, what's your favorite color?
green.
Now,
I love green.
Are you a cat person or a dog person?
Both. I have two cats, and I had a dog that passed away. Probably gonna be getting a new one here in a little bit, but yeah, got two cats now. They're both assholes, but that's how cats are. So,
So what kind of dogs do you like?
pit bulls, American bulldogs. That's what I've had growing up. Uh, they've most little dogs I've ever had. Super protective and super athletic, and honestly very loving. Never had an issue with one, unlike you would hear so often from everyone else that are so worried about it. But I love those dogs.
So now, Tyler, when you were a little kid, what was your favorite cartoon to watch?
Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo?
Oh, for real, man. That was, if I was not watching Scooby Doo, I was upset with everything in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I even have, that's why my Instagram is Nitro Scoop. If I could paint my car as the Mystery Machine, I would. I got a father that will not let me do it.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter, when my daughter was growing up, she always used to make me do the Scooby Doo impersonations all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, it's always a good trick to have in the back pocket, you know.
Yeah. Now, when you're at the track for a day of racing, do you eat regularly, or do you eat lightly and wait till the races are done?
I don't. I usually don't eat until I leave the track. Uh, I mean, I usually am so focused that I don't even realize that I haven't eaten anything until I have left the track. So it's just I'm always so busy that that's just the last thing I'm thinking of.
All right. Now, what's been your most embarrassing moment on the track?
Say that one more time.
What's been your most embarrassing moment on the track?
I have two. One was with Fred and his car. We were down in San Antonio, and we accidentally, another crew member and I accidentally messed with the parachutes and thought we'd cleared them and gotten them ready, and then only to have the ensuing pass where the parachutes never deployed and ended up losing a car in the process. That was extremely embarrassing. Surprising that Fred would even still talk to me after that. But I mean, I'm Fred wrote his debt. And we were able to get a new car, or he was able to get a new car, and luckily it was better than the last one. It's been running great ever since.
So what was the other
But
one?
yeah, that was a big. The other one, I was this past year down in Ferris, Texas, at that the Sherman Raceway Park. The ignition decided to jump on me during the burnout, and it sounded like I didn't know what I was doing with my car. It started popping, snorting, sneezing, and doing all sorts of crazy stuff on me, and I ended up having to shut it down and get out of the car and walk back to the starting line and watch the other guy go down the track with no issues. Then slowly push it back up underneath the announcing booth. That was a real gut check. That one really made me want to. Do you still really want to do this? And here I am, still doing it.
Now, if you were not a drag racer, what do you think you'd be doing with your life?
I'd probably be an engineer. Honestly, or an architect. That was what I was going to school for originally. Going into college, I think I probably would have kept going with that, but I wouldn't be doing any of this racing or anything like that. But instead, I'm an accountant. Uh, Still not too bad, but probably where I'd be. Probably doing mechanical work on a plane or something.
So now, as far as the sport of drag racing goes, do you have anything on a bucket list that you still would love to do in drag racing?
Oh, for sure. Um, I would love to drive in the top fuel class, whether it be a dragster or a funny car. I would love the opportunity to. I would love the opportunity to drive Scott Palmer's Nitro Pro Mod. That thing is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen, and that would be the coolest thing to drive. That would be up there on one of the bucket list items.
Oh yeah, drive the Studzilla. Yeah.
Ah, the Studio, man, is the coolest thing.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome, man.
I mean, it'd be a unique experience to be sitting in a door car with nitro flames 8 feet in the air next to you. Just see what this thing will run in the 8th mile and pray to God that it will go straight. Probably won't, but it would be a hell of a ride.
Yeah. Now, what would you consider to be the fondest memory of your drag racing career?
Uh, Fondest memory would probably be last 2018 in Mocan with Fred and his car. We at the Funny Car Chaos event, we had multiple engine issues to the point where we were switching heads with another car, the Nitro Clown team. They were very generous in us lend their heads on Fred's block with our supercharger and everything. And there's probably 10, 12, 15 guys working on this car, getting it turned around in 60 to 90 minutes, almost like a pro team, getting it ready for this race out at the Mocan Dragway. And that moment, that whole event of us just all coming together and working on that car was the fondest memory I have in drag racing for sure.
Hey, that's the great thing about drag racing, the camaraderie between, crew and drivers, how everyone's like one big family.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we celebrate birthdays together. We stay with each other on the road. We are family. We're strapping them we strap ourselves into these cars that we are, almost tempting fate every time we go down the track. It is what we love to do, and we gotta have trust with those people that are there with us, and that so that we can do what we love to do safely.
So, what's the best way for people to follow you where you're going to be racing at?
The best place to follow me is my Instagram at NitroScoob4764. That's NitroScoob 4764. I post more on there than anything else. They can follow the Facebook page at Reinauer and Brown Racing. That is REINAUER and Brown like the color. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram on that as well. We're trying to get everything more updated and stay on top of things better.
Well, Tyler, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do the interview tonight.
Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate it. I actually myself am probably going to be starting I shouldn't say probably. I am going to be starting a podcast here soon. It's going to be called Tension in the Pits. And whenever I get that up and running, I'd love to have you on as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be cool. Well, I wish you have a great night, and I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, Tyler.
You as well, Dave. You eat as much as you can.
I will. All right, you have a great night, Tyler. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.